In the vibrant city of Austin, Texas, a rising star in the world of cycling was on the brink of greatness. Anna Moriah Wilson, known for her talent and warmth, was ready to conquer the professional cycling world. But behind her success, a dark shadow was lurking. A love triangle marked by jealousy and obsession was about to reach a tragic climax. A single, fateful night would change everything. A shocking murder, a desperate fugitive, and a relentless pursuit for justice. Join us as we unravel the gripping story of Anna Moriah Wilson, Caitlin Armstrong, and the quest for justice. Don't miss this captivating tale of ambition, betrayal, and redemption. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to follow every twist and turn of this incredible journey. Anna's journey in cycling began at a young age. Growing up in Vermont, she was always active, exploring the picturesque landscapes on her bike. Her passion for cycling grew as she participated in local races, winning numerous accolades. Riding through the Vermont woods was like flying, Anna would often say, her eyes lighting up with the joy of those memories. By the time she moved to Austin, she was fully committed to making a name for herself in the competitive world of cycling. In Austin, Anna quickly became a beloved figure within the cycling community. Her disciplined training regimen, combined with her natural talent, earned her respect and admiration. She frequently trained with fellow cyclists, forming strong bonds and friendships. One such friendship was with Colin Strickland, an established professional cyclist. Colin, who was in an on and off relationship with yoga instructor Caitlin Armstrong, often trained with Anna, offering her tips and encouragement. The relationship between Colin and Caitlin was fraught with complexities. They had been together for several years, but their relationship was marked by frequent breakups and reconciliations. Caitlin, who was passionate about yoga and had a successful career as an instructor, struggled with insecurity and jealousy, particularly regarding Colin's interactions with other women. Despite these challenges, Colin and Caitlin's relationship persisted. However, when Colin began spending more time with Anna, training and working together on cycling projects, Caitlin's insecurities grew. She perceived Anna as a threat to her relationship with Colin, even though Anna and Colin's relationship was purely professional and platonic. On the evening of May 11th, 2022, Anna was staying at a friend's house in Austin, preparing for an upcoming race. It was a typical evening, filled with anticipation and excitement for the competition ahead. Meanwhile, Caitlin's jealousy had reached a boiling point. She believed that Anna was more than just a friend to Colin and decided to confront her. Armed with a firearm, Caitlin drove to the house where Anna was staying. In a moment of intense rage and irrationality, she confronted Anna and fatally shot her. The sound of gunfire shattered the calm of the evening, and Anna's life was tragically cut short. The cycling community, and indeed the entire city, was plunged into shock and mourning. The police were called to the scene, and an investigation was quickly launched. Initial reports indicated that Anna had been the victim of a targeted attack, and the search for the perpetrator began. Detectives interviewed witnesses, including Anna's friends and neighbors, piecing together the events of that fateful night. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that Caitlin was a person of interest. Witnesses reported seeing her car near the crime scene, and surveillance footage corroborated their accounts. Additionally, detectives discovered a series of troubling messages and social media posts that highlighted Caitlin's growing obsession with Anna and her belief that Anna was involved with Colin. Realizing that the police were closing in on her, Caitlin decided to flee. She used her sister's passport to travel to Costa Rica, hoping to evade capture. In Costa Rica, she assumed new identities and changed her appearance through plastic surgery. Her once distinctive features were now altered, making it difficult for authorities to recognize her. For over a month, Caitlin lived a fugitive's life in Costa Rica. She moved frequently, taking up various jobs, including teaching yoga under different aliases. Despite her efforts to remain hidden, the net was closing in. The U.S. Marshals, who had taken over the hunt, were relentless in their pursuit. They placed ads on social media, searching for any leads that could help them locate her. After 43 days on the run, Caitlin's luck ran out. She was apprehended at a hostel in Santa Teresa, Costa Rica, on June 29, 2022. Her drastic change in appearance, including dyed and cut hair and a bandaged nose, was noted by the arresting officers. Caitlin initially claimed that the changes were due to a surfing accident, but the authorities were not convinced. Caitlin was extradited back to the United States, where she was held in Travis County Jail on a $3.5 million bond. The arrest brought a sense of relief to Anna's family and friends, who had been devastated by her loss. However, the road to justice was far from over. The legal proceedings against Caitlin were complex and protracted. She was arraigned on July 21, 2022, pleading not guilty to the murder charge. Her defense team argued that her confession to the Austin Police Department was obtained illegally, as she had not been read her Miranda rights. This motion was ultimately denied, allowing the confession to be used as evidence in the trial. As the trial date approached, the prosecution and defense teams prepared their cases. The prosecution aimed to present a clear narrative of jealousy and premeditated murder, supported by forensic evidence, witness testimonies, and digital forensics. The defense sought to cast doubt on the prosecution's timeline and the credibility of the evidence. On October 30, 2023, the trial of Caitlin Armstrong began. The courtroom was filled with spectators, reporters, and members of the cycling community, all eager to see justice served for Anna. The prosecution opened with a powerful statement, outlining the events leading up to Anna's murder and highlighting Caitlin's attempts to evade capture. Testimonies from Anna's friends, Colin, and other witnesses painted a picture of a young woman whose life was filled with promise and potential. Forensic experts detailed the evidence linking Caitlin to the crime scene, including DNA samples and ballistic analysis. Digital forensics experts explained how Caitlin's online activity and messages demonstrated her growing obsession with Anna. One of the most compelling testimonies came from Colin Strickland. He recounted his relationship with both Caitlin and Anna, describing how he had trained with Anna and helped her navigate the competitive world of professional cycling. Colin's testimony was crucial in establishing the motive behind the crime. "Anna was like a sister to me," Colin testified, his voice breaking. "I never imagined our friendship would lead to such tragedy." Another significant testimony came from a forensic expert who detailed the evidence collected from the crime scene. The expert explained how ballistic analysis had linked the bullet that killed Anna to a gun registered to Caitlin. Additionally, DNA evidence found on the weapon and at the scene further implicated Caitlin. The expert's clear and concise explanation helped the jury understand the technical aspects of the evidence. Digital forensics played a critical role in the trial. Investigators had uncovered a series of messages and emails from Caitlin to friends and family expressing her fears and suspicions about Colin's relationship with Anna. These messages provided insight into Caitlin's state of mind in the months leading up to the murder. Additionally, her internet search history revealed disturbing searches related to tracking individuals and committing crimes without getting caught. One particularly damning piece of evidence was a message Caitlin had sent to a close friend, expressing her anger and frustration about Colin's time with Anna. The message, sent just days before the murder, contained threatening language and suggested that Caitlin was contemplating drastic actions. The prosecution argued that this message demonstrated premeditation and intent. The defense team faced an uphill battle. They aimed to cast doubt on the prosecution's narrative, suggesting that the evidence was circumstantial and that there was no direct proof of premeditation. They called several character witnesses who testified to Caitlin's normally calm and composed demeanor, arguing that the murder was an act of passion rather than a calculated crime. To challenge the forensic evidence, the defense brought in their own experts who attempted to question the methods used by the prosecution's forensic team. They argued that the DNA evidence could have been contaminated and that the ballistic analysis was not conclusive. However, their arguments struggled to gain traction against the weight of the prosecution's evidence. Throughout the trial, the emotional toll on Anna's family and friends was palpable. They attended every session, listening to the harrowing details of Anna's final moments and the subsequent investigation. Their presence in the courtroom served as a powerful reminder of the human cost of the crime. The prosecution occasionally called upon them to provide context and share memories of Anna, highlighting her vibrant personality and the void her death had left. Caitlin, on the other hand, remained mostly stoic throughout the proceedings. Occasionally, she would show signs of distress, particularly when the evidence of her actions was laid bare. Her defense team attempted to portray her as a woman driven to desperation by intense emotional turmoil, but this narrative struggled to resonate with the jury. As the trial neared its conclusion, both sides prepared for their closing arguments. The prosecution reiterated their case, emphasizing the premeditated nature of the crime and the overwhelming evidence against Caitlin. They painted a picture of a calculated murder driven by jealousy and possessiveness. The district attorney urged the jury to deliver justice for Anna and her grieving family. The defense, in their closing argument, appealed to the jury's sense of compassion. They acknowledged that Caitlin had committed a terrible act but argued that it was an impulsive decision made in a moment of emotional upheaval. They pleaded for leniency, suggesting that Caitlin was not a cold-blooded killer but a woman who had made a tragic mistake. After days of deliberation, the jury returned with a verdict. Caitlin Armstrong was found guilty of first-degree murder. The courtroom erupted in a mixture of relief and sorrow as the verdict was read. Anna's family embraced, tears streaming down their faces, as they finally saw a semblance of justice for their beloved daughter and sister. The sentencing phase followed, where the judge considered the severity of the crime and the impact on the victims. Caitlin was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The judge's words were stern and unyielding, reflecting the gravity of the crime and the need for accountability. The conclusion of the trial marked the beginning of a long healing process for Anna's family, friends, and the cycling community. The civil lawsuit filed by Anna's family against Caitlin added another layer of complexity to their journey toward closure. They sought compensation for the emotional and financial toll the murder had taken on their lives. The civil trial was another grueling ordeal, but it provided Anna's family with an opportunity to voice their pain and hold Caitlin accountable in a different forum. The proceedings revealed more about the psychological impact of the crime on Anna's loved ones, highlighting the deep scars left by her untimely death. In the wake of the trials, the cycling community in Austin rallied to honor Anna's memory. They organized memorial rides and established scholarships in her name to support young, aspiring cyclists. These initiatives aimed to preserve Anna's legacy and ensure that her passion for cycling continued to inspire others. Anna's family also became advocates for mental health and conflict resolution, hoping to prevent similar tragedies. They spoke at community events, sharing their story and encouraging others to seek help in dealing with jealousy and insecurity. Their efforts were aimed at fostering a more compassionate and understanding society,